first impressions are that I really enjoy this camera. Okay, I'm gonna go do a few tests on the A7C and see how this thing does. First impression, I love the autofocus and I love being able to see myself on the LCD screens. Looks like we've got some nice bokeh in the background. Autofocus is working really well. One thing that I'm obviously noticing right off the bat is that it is more cropped in. But again, I do have the 16 to 50 coming in, so that'll help a little bit. I think I'm gonna invest in a lens like a 10 to 18 millimeter. My buddy Luke was telling me that that would be a good option for vlogging. Right now, this is basically straight out of the package shooting from this camera. The only thing that I did adjust really was switching it over to 24 frames per second. But other than that, I haven't really changed any of the settings. Right now I am keeping it in the automatic camera settings until I get a little more experienced in it. As far as I'm seeing on the LCD, it looks pretty well. It's not too cropped in, so as long as I hold it out, I mean, I don't know how the audio is. Again, I don't have any microphone attached to it right now, so this is as minimal as it gets with this camera, straight out of the package. This is basically what I'm shooting. Hey, Tracy. Tracy is the neighbor's dog. She's missing a leg, but she is a joy. And then there's Yogi. Hey, Daisy. Yeah, all the dogs basically hang out in our yard now, so I guess we're that family. What are you doing, buddy? Okay, now I'm going to try and put it in 60 frames per second, get some slower type shots. I won't be able to do the 120 because I don't have the right memory card for that. So I'm going to have to buy some new memory cards to be able to do the 120 frames per second, which I definitely will want to be able to use and test out. What that's going to do is it's going to allow me to get some really cool cinematic, like slow motion shots that I really couldn't get before. A lot of things on the agenda to purchase. We're learning, we're growing. It's all a part of the process, one step at a time. Okay, I'm slightly out of breath from chasing Yogi around, and he's kind of scared of cameras, so to get him to sit still actually makes for a challenge. So we'll see how this camera handles all his sporadic movements. I mean, I was running all over the place trying to chase him. Okay, so I got a few shots. First impressions are that I really enjoy this camera. Compared to what I was using, this is so much easier. I haven't gone into like extensive research with like fixing all the camera settings and figuring out what's best for shooting what. Basically, I was just taking the knowledge that I had from everything that I've used before and trying to apply it to this. But I also know that this camera is a huge step up from anything else that I've ever used, so it's definitely going to take some time getting used to it. Please bear with me as I'm discovering how to use this camera. I don't know how the in-body audio is on this camera, and I'm sure it's not that great. They usually never are. I do have a microphone, so I might do a little audio test just to see how that works. But yeah, I'm so excited. Okay, so real quick, I just wanted to do a test on the audio to see how it sounds. This is the in-camera, nothing added, straight out of the package audio. Now this audio test is with my Rode Video Micro attached. I don't know if it sounds any different. If it doesn't sound any different, then that means that obviously my microphone is jacked up. So as I mentioned earlier, I haven't really filmed much of anything because I've been waiting on this camera. But I've actually been home for a few weeks now because I wanted to be home in time to celebrate my birthday with my family. And for my birthday, my mom ended up taking me to King Creek Canyon National Preserve, which is only like an hour away, but it's actually got some really cool hiking trails and waterfalls. And I did film a little bit on my iPhone. It would have been nice to film it on the A7C, but I do have a little bit of footage. It was just a good time to be able to get outside and do something fun with my mom and my little sister Alyssa, who joined us. And then afterwards we ate at this pretty well-known Italian restaurant called Rigatoni's. Basically everyone I know from here has eaten there at some point in their life, and I had not, so we definitely made that happen, and it was good. But other than that, I haven't really had much going on. This is kind of a weird transition state for me, and I'll explain more about that in a future video. As of right now, I've mainly just been doing things with the church, going to different small groups. We just had our Easter service, which was really good. And then later last night, probably my favorite show, The Chosen, was starting season 2, and they were doing a live stream of the first episode, and so I wanted to make sure that I watched that. If you haven't seen The Chosen yet, I totally recommend it. It's basically going into detail about the life of Jesus and his disciples and just walking you through the gospel. I love how it just shines new light on some of these passages and verses that we read all the time. Just the way that it puts things into context and brings the stories to life. So again, if you have not seen that, go watch season 1. They have their own app called The Chosen app. You can go download it. What's really cool about it is all the episodes are free. You don't have to do any subscription or anything like that. This whole project is basically funded by people's donations, but it's not ran through any TV network or anything that limits them or tells them what they can and can't do, when they can schedule, anything like that. It's all funded by people like you and I. And they wanted to make it available to as many people as possible to really get the word, to get the message of the gospel out. So they have it set up on this pay it forward system. So basically, if I go to watch an episode right now, it is completely free to me because it's been paid forward by someone else who made a donation. If you're not in a position to where you can do a donation, the episode is still free for you. And if you do decide that you want to do a donation in the future, you can help other people be able to watch the episode for free by your donation as well. I feel like I just did like a little mini ad for The Chosen. Definitely not sponsored by them, but one of my dreams, what I think would be just really awesome, is to somehow end up on their show. Whether it's having some significant role for even one episode, or even if it's just as an extra, that's one of my goals. And I just think that would be really cool to be able to be on an episode of The Chosen. So Dallas, if you see this, or if anyone wants to share this with Dallas, this is my very informal way of saying I would like to be on the show. It would be really, really awesome, and it would be an answer to one of my many, many dreams. Okay, so this is the nighttime capability on this camera, and it is blowing me away because it's almost like pitch black out here. And this is just in the auto mode, so it's not even like I'm bumping up the ISO, it's just on auto. This is the ISO at its highest level, and I mean, you can still see the green on the grass. It's like 9 o'clock at night. I mean, obviously it's going to be a little distorted because, again, it's at the highest level ISO, but this is incredible. If I was shooting on the Nikon, you wouldn't be able to see any of this. Okay, so another thing that I wanted to mention is that the starter went out on the CR-V that my family lets me drive while I'm in town. It's currently at the shop, and my dad and stepmom just went out of town on vacation to Gatlinburg, and they're gonna be gone like the whole week, which means I am basically just stuck at the house for this entire week. And so I have a feeling that I'm gonna get bored very quickly, and you can only binge watch so much Netflix. So I'm gonna have to find ways to keep myself entertained. It's almost like having to do the whole quarantine thing over again. But I hope y'all enjoyed today's vlog and getting to see me test out this new camera. Like always, go leave a like on the video. Make sure to subscribe if you're not already. We'll see you on the next one.